Students of class 10th, in this video we will revise chapter agriculture. So the term agriculture is derived from two Latin words, ager meaning land and culture meaning cultivation. Agriculture thus means land cultivation. However, in modern days, agriculture also includes animal husbandry, forestry, and pisciculture. So, in a very simple sentence, what we can say, agriculture is an art and science of growing of grains and rearing of animals. Here you can see in this slide what is told by George Washington. Agriculture is the most healthful, most useful, and most noble employment of man. So this is the statement given by George Washington. But when you are getting the question to define what is agriculture, in a very simple sentence, what we can say, the art and science of growing of grains and rearing of animals is known as agriculture. So with regard to the importance of agriculture, in country like India, agriculture is playing a dominant role. Our country is an agricultural country, or in other words, what we can say, economy of our country is agro-based. Even after more than 50 years, about 64% of the total workforce is still engaged in this activity, that is farming. It contributes about 26% of the net national product. It is also responsible for feeding more than 1.5 million population, and it also provides fodder to over 13 crore animals. Many industries, particularly the agro-based industries, draw their raw materials from agricultural produce. Our country is a unique country from agricultural point of view. Its vast area, fertile soil, high percentage of cultivable land, or you can say the arable land, wide climatic range, and long growing seasons provide a solid base to agriculture. Due to all these favorable conditions, India is the world's largest producer of tea, sugarcane, coarse grains, and some wild seeds. Now we'll discuss about the types of farming. So with regard to the types of farming, broadly, the types of farming as per your textbook can be categorized into primitive subsistence type of farming, another one intensive subsistence type of farming, and the third one, that is the commercial farming. So with regard to the primitive subsistence type of farming, this is the type of farming, you can see this slide, which is practiced in some of the interior parts of our country, generally by the or mostly by the tribal communities. So with regard to this type of farming, in this type of farming, farmers are plowing the land with the help of primitive tools, and what they are growing is sufficient to fulfill the personal need of food only. So this type of agriculture is practiced on a small patches of land with the help of primitive tools like hoe, dog, digging sticks, and generally the family or the community members are working as laborers. And another characteristic of this type of farming is that it depends upon monsoonal rainfall, natural fertility of the soil, and suitability of other environmental condition. So with regard to the good example, what we can take here of primitive subsistence type of farming, that is shifting agriculture. In this agricultural system, a patch of land is cleared, crops are grown, and the patch is then deserted until soil regains its fertility. This is the oldest and unscientific method of agriculture. This is also known as slash and burn method. In India, it is also known as zooming, and this type of agriculture is known by different names in different parts of our country and also in different parts of the world. So you will go through some of the local names given to shifting agriculture. After that, we'll discuss about intensive subsistence type of farming. So with regard to the intensive subsistence type of farming, this is the type of farming which is carried out in most parts of India. And with regard to the subsistence, the literal meaning of subsistence, the type of farming which is practiced for self-sustenance, or you can say to fulfill the personal need of food. So this type of farming is labor intensive farming, and high doses of biochemical inputs and irrigation facilities are used to obtain maximum output. The crop specialization is not possible in this type of farming because farmer grows varied crops to fulfill the needs of the family. Farmers intensively cultivate the land to produce a variety of crops from a small piece of land. Thus, farming tends to be intensive, and this type of agriculture is known as intensive subsistence type of farming. And in this type of farming, animals play a major role. They are also used for transportation. Animal manure is also used to fertilize the fields. After that, we'll discuss about the commercial farming. So with regard to the commercial farming, this type of farming is practiced to sell the agriculture produce in the market. So as per the market condition and the geographical condition of an area, farmers are growing those crops which can be sold very easily in the market. In this type of farming, there is higher or maximum use of modern inputs like high yielding variety of seeds, chemical fertilizer, insecticides, and pesticides in order to obtain, or you can say to get maximum produce. The degree of commercialization of agriculture varies from one region to the another region of our country. If we will take the example of rice, It is grown or cultivated as commercial crop in Punjab and Haryana. But if you will take the example of other parts like Odisha, like Jharkhand, Bihar, in these parts, this crop is cultivated as subsistence crop. Now let us discuss about the example of commercial type of farming. So very good example of the commercial type of farming what we can take, that is the plantation agriculture. In this type of farming, single crop is cultivated on a large area, and the plantation has an interface of agriculture and industry. In this type of farming, plantation of single crop is done over a large piece of land, or you can say the hectares and hectares of land. This type of farming is capital intensive, means maximum capital investment is required, and farmers, generally the migrant laborers, they are working in the farm as laborers, or you can say the farmers, and all the produce is used as raw material in the industries. We can take some of the example of plantation crop like tea, coffee, rubber, sugarcane, banana. So these are some of the plantation crops which are grown in different parts of our country by the farmers. About the cropping pattern, we will discuss in the next video.